The Enclave is Buick's most important vehicle. The last generation, despite being nearly 10 years old, was the second best-selling three-row luxury crossover, behind only the Acura MDX. But nothing can last forever, so what we have today is the long-awaited, all-new Buick Enclave. This is a vehicle that is trying to build on the success of the outgoing generation, while still adding all the modern technology and amenities that people now expect. Like always, this review will cover all trims of the Enclave, including the new Avenir trim. So let's go ahead and see if this new Enclave has what it takes to lay hold of the sales crown. We would like to specially thank Don Franklin Buick GMC for inviting us out to film today's vehicle. If you want to find out more information about their dealership and massive inventory of new Buicks and GMCs, then click on the link to their website provided in the video description. Unlike the last generation, every Enclave gets standard keyless open and go, with this nice key fob. On the old model, you couldn't get it on any trim. In addition, remote start is also included across the board. There's no part of this vehicle left unchanged, so we'll start things off with a look under the hood. Everything under the hood has changed, but there still aren't a bunch of choices. Power is provided by only this new 3.6-liter V6 engine, producing 310 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is an also new 9-speed automatic. Now, power can be put to the ground by one of three different drivetrains. The base trim is exclusively front-wheel drive, while the Essence can choose between front-wheel drive or traditional all-wheel drive. The Premium and Avenir also start with front-wheel drive, but they can option on the intelligent twin-clutch all-wheel drive system that is shared with Cadillac. Regardless of which choice you make, fuel economy sees a big rise over the old model, thanks partially to the new auto start-stop system. They come in at 18 city, 26 highway, 21 combined for the front-wheel drive model, and 17 city, 25 highway, 20 combined for the all-wheel drive models. Both of those represent increases of 3 mpgs. Now let's check out the all-new exterior. Because the Enclave was quite successful in its class, its exterior design is more evolutionary than its platform mate, the Traverse. Up front, we have the newest version of the Buick Waterfall grille, which now has a horizontal chrome strip across it. This grille comes on the base, Essence, and Premium. However, on the Avenir, you have a totally different version with dark chrome mesh, inspired by none other than the Avenir concept car. Coming to the headlights though, there are no such differences between the trims. Every model gets these nice looking full LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. And down below you have LED parking lamps and your turn signals. As far as ground clearance is concerned, I couldn't find the exact numbers, but it appears to be about average. Coming up to the wheels, there are several different designs and sizes available. These are the Premium's optional 20-inch polished aluminum wheels, which would otherwise be the same 18-inch alloys as the other two lower trims. The Avenir also gets 20-inch wheels. It's with a special design and pearl nickel finish. The brakes are ventilated disc in the front and rear, but Buick didn't supply the exact numbers. However, we do know that the tires are all seasons. And you have the signature port vent. Moving on up to the mirrors, they are power adjusting, heated, and even auto dimming across all trims. Premium and Up add power folding and memory, though Essence and Up include the side blind zone indicators. These will light up if a vehicle is in your blind spot. The Enclave is huge, and no view shows that off as well as the side. Despite already being big, this new generation has grown to over 204 inches in length, otherwise known as 8 inches larger than the MDX and QX60. Since this is all new, it hasn't undergone any safety testing yet. However, we can talk about the active safety tech on board. On Premium and Avenir, you get lane keep assist and auto high beams, but only forward collision alert. To get emergency braking and adaptive cruise control, you have to add an optional technology package to the Avenir. Most rivals offer those features either standard or available on a wider selection of trims. The rear pillar has this unique design, which kind of looks like it's floating, but not really. It does make the design stand out a little more though. Around back is where I see the strongest resemblance to the outgoing model, possibly due to the colored rocker panels. They can be had in Spectra Gray, Satin Nickel, or Pitch Dark Night. You have a nice chrome accent across the back, which leads right into the taillights. They themselves are fully LED, with a design that kind of mimics the headlights. And dropping down, we have the Satin Nickel bumper, with integrated dual horizontal exhaust. It's certainly a unique touch compared to rivals. Moving on to towing, it can handle up to 5,000 pounds. But only with the optional trailering package. You do have a rear spoiler and standard roof rails on all trims. The Enclave has two fuel tank capacities, 19.4 gallons for front-wheel drive and 21.7 gallons for all-wheel drive. That achieves a range of 407 miles and 434 miles respectively, both on regular fuel, which is a nice bonus over some rivals. Well, that covers everything on the outside, so now let's check out the radical interior changes. The outside of the old Enclave aged pretty gracefully, but the inside not so much. But thankfully, no remnants of the past survive, so now you have a really rich, almost Cadillac-like interior. This is the shale perforated leather interior, but Premiums and Essence also have the choice between either black or brandy interior colors. At the bottom you have the 1SV with only black cloth, and at the top the Avenir only comes with an exclusive chestnut interior. Moving to the door trim, it also looks luxurious, with extensive use of leather all throughout this portion. The top is also padded, and below it you have nice looking wood and aluminum trim. You will find 2% memory on the premium trim and up. And the windows are auto up down for the driver only, and auto down for all the others. Every Enclave comes with this 8-way power adjusting seat with 2-way power lumbar. The leather itself is surprisingly smooth and supple, and I'd say it feels as nice as the Cadillac XT5 we were in recently. First looking around the cabin, it's almost shocking how big of an upgrade has occurred. Not just referring to the design, but also the materials. Only the extreme highest part is hard, but all the areas you might actually touch are covered in stitched leather. The only trim it's not black is the Avenir, where it is brown. Below it you have more wood and aluminum, and soft touch plastic that goes all down the passenger side. On the driver's side, you get premium leather trim instead. And of course, everything fits together nicely and feels solid. To start, just press the nice looking square button. After you do, the standard 8-inch Intellilink display should fire up. What you are looking at now are the standard gauges, with the 4.2-inch multifunction display. However, on the Avenir, you will get an 8-inch digital gauge cluster instead, which I think looks substantially better. But this regular display still shows all the expected stuff, and is pretty easy to use. The old model had one of the ugliest steering wheels I have ever seen, so thankfully a new leather-wrapped one controls the electric power steering. On the left side you have a wide assortment of buttons, including one for the heated steering wheel on premium and Avenirs. On the other side you have audio and buttons for the multifunction display. The wheel itself will also be power on the premium and Avenir. Moving on to interior storage, the Enclave does a great job of maximizing it. In the center console, you have a small sectioned container, and removing it shows off a much deeper pit. Up in the front, you have another area, which doubles as a wireless charging pad on Avenir. Otherwise, you can just use these. But the big story is this area down here. You could stick just about anything in this space, like for example, a large purse or bag. There is also a 12-volt outlet. Of course, that area is made possible by this new electronic shifter. For drive, just press the side and pull back. You do have the ability to shift manually via these standard paddle shifters. Now for reverse, you actually have to go up and over. Once you do that, a standard backup camera will pop up. All models get these dynamic guidelines, but Avenir gets the standard surround vision camera system. This gives you a bird's eye view of everything around the vehicle. But if I have one complaint, the Traverse gives it to you on LT leather and up, so I think it should be standard on most of the trims here as well. And for park, just press the P. Moving on to the climate, every trim gets 3-zone automatic controls. Most things are adjusted right here with the physical controls. But some of the stuff has to be done up here on the screen. Despite the separation of controls, it's overall pretty easy to get used to. Down here with the rest of the buttons, you'll find 3-stage heated seats on all models, and 3-stage ventilation for the Premium and Avenir. Now let's sample the top 2 trims' upgraded Bose 10-speaker sound system. The sound quality seems quite good and on par with rivals. Let's take a brief look around the Intellilink system. This isn't quite the newest version like we found on the 2018 GMC Terrain, but it's still one of the better systems out there. This is the home screen, and you'll find all the features here. Starting with the audio, you can play, pause, and skip songs straight through the Bluetooth when you have that connected. Media cycles through the currently connected sources, and there is also FM, AM, and XM radio. The row of app shortcuts at the top allows you to quickly go to things, like phone. When in here, you have access to a full list of your contacts that have been synced over automatically from your smartphone. Every Enclave also comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which would appear here if a phone was connected via USB. Next up is navigation. This is actually optional on our Premium, but it is standard on Avenir. It does support pinch to zoom, and moving around the map is reasonably responsive. The only other thing I want to mention is OnStar. It has a lot of features, but the one you're most likely interested in is the Wi-Fi. This is where you would find the password to sign into it during your complimentary trial. That's all I'm going to cover in this video, but we have a very detailed Intellilink tutorial that you can check out if you want to see more. A link to that is provided in the description. Off to the side of the screen are some buttons, like for example, one to activate the trailering mode. Moving on up, you will find an auto-dimming mirror on all models, but if you choose the Avenir, it adds an extra trick. It can become a live video feed of everything that's behind the car, which is incredibly useful for something this large. Regardless, every trim has the universal remotes. We also have a moonroof. It's a dual panel setup, where the front portion opens just like a regular one. This is optional on our Premium, through the Experience Buick package, and standard on Avenir. So overall, it would be a gross understatement to say that this cabin is a giant leap forward over the outgoing model. The design, tech, and luxury upgrades bring this interior thoroughly up to date. A lot of people don't consider Buick to be a real luxury brand, but I think if you put this back to back with something like the Acura MDX, you will definitely change your mind. What you are hearing is the rear seat reminder system, which will go off if you have used the rear doors before or during the latest trip. Now my brother will cover all the rest of the cabin.
As you would expect out of something this expensive, materials on the rear door trim are top-notch. There's plenty of leather padding, real aluminum, and padded plastic. Your windows back here are auto-up. The rear of the Enclave boasts a pretty big 38.9 inches of legroom and 39.9 inches of headroom. The MDX is quite a bit smaller than that for reference. Other than that, Buick does give you these comfortable captain's chairs on all trims. Down in the center you'll find a lot of controls. The rear does get to adjust its own climate on every Enclave. Plus there's multi-stage seat heating on Premium and Avenir. Below there's a household outlet and 2 smart charging USBs. The chairs do have adjustable armrests. And right above it you'll find the second moonroof. Other features include LED lighting, air vents, and an assist grip. Legroom is typically not a problem in this class, and the Enclave is no exception. I have tons of room even to stretch out. The third row isn't as spacious though, with 33.5 inches of legroom and 37.6 inches of headroom. Obviously, this isn't comfortable for most people, but the second row can slide forward. There's 2 cup holders, more smart USBs, and up top some vents and lights. All Enclaves have a power tailgate, which is also hands-free. It even projects a Buick emblem where you need to kick. All that extra length gives the Enclave class-leading cargo space. Behind the third row, you'll find 23.6 cubic feet, 58 cubic feet behind the second row, and a maximum of 97.6 cubic feet. The third row is nicely power folding on the top 2 trims. The passenger seat is 6-way power adjusting with 2-way power lumbar on every Enclave. In front of the passenger you have very nice materials, and the glove box is dampened. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching one of the first in-depth reviews on the all-new 2018 Buick Enclave Premium. Stay watching for a quick look at the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. See you next time.